I don't have that much more to do with ir and hacer, so I'm gonna go ahead and this will be a short video. Where I left off is I had nosotros. Nosotros was vamos, so that was the verb that I'm gonna plug in here. Oops. And then I can't get it. I have to have the a, so vamos a. And what my husband and I are going to do is go to the movie theater, so that ir al cine mañana. Vamos a ir al cine mañana. Here my subject is tú. The ir that goes with tú is vas. So I'll plug in vas. Then I have to have the a. And then what we're going to do is dormir. So tú vas a dormir mañana. Okay, here I've got Alberto y Susana. Those are my subjects. Okay, and that would be the same thing as saying ellos. Okay, so if I go over here, ellos van, that's what I'm going to plug in here. Then I need an a, van a, and what they're going to do is eat. Almorzar mañana. So Alberto y Susana van a almorzar mañana. Usted is my subject here, so I would go up here. Usted goes with ba, so that's what I'm going to plug in here. Ba a, and what they're going to do is watch the what you're going to do is watch the television. So usted va a ver la televisión. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is I thought you should get a little bit of practice with the preposition a. I mentioned how if ir is generally followed by the preposition a, and when the definite article el comes behind that, then you have to change it to al. Okay, so if we look up here, that's all we're doing in this. We've got el viernes, mis amigos y yo vamos, and where we're going to is the discotheque. So we want to say to the. Well, the that matches with discoteca, oops. The that matches with discoteca is actually la. Okay, so for some reason I can't seem to get this exactly right. There we go, that's a little better. So the that matches with discoteca, we're going to put an a, and then we would put a la. Because a la is okay written together, we would leave it alone. Okay, so Sarah va al gimnasio. So where she's going is to the gym. The that we would use here is el, so we would have a, el. Whenever a situation arises where you have a and el next to each other, you cannot write that. Unlike in English where you're allowed to keep you are allowed to make the choice whether to make a contraction or not. In Spanish, you have no choice, you have to make it. So if you end up with a, el, you have to change it to al. So here, voy laboratorio, the place where you're going is the Laboratorio de Lenguas, which again would be, which would put you have you writing in a and el, because the that matches laboratorio would be el, and you can't do that, you have to make it al. Okay, vas Facultad de Ciencias, to the School of Science. Facultad ends in ad, so it's feminine, so what you would write here is a, la, and you don't change it. Okay, los estudiantes de arte van museo el sábado. Where they're going is to the museum. Museum is masculine, so you would have to the that would match museum is el. Can't keep that, gotta change it to al. Tenemos que ir rectoría, or the president's office. Rectoría is feminine, so you would say a la and leave it at that. ¿A qué hora van ustedes? To the stadium. Estadio is masculine, so again you would end up with el, which is something you can't keep, you'd have to make it al. And Patricia va al teatro. Again, we've got teatro, which is masculine. So what you'd plug in is AL, which I can't keep. I have to make AL.